Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Diaqat Zaman. Here I'm going to be teaching you the Arabic alphabet. So the first letter we cover is this line, straight line that goes down. So straight line that goes down. Okay, this straight line that goes down has a sound, or it gives a sound like this. Ah. It's an A. Ah. So a sound of ah is this. The second letter is a shape like this, like a boat, a canoe. And this shape has a dot underneath. This is a very unique dot which appears under the letter, one single dot. So because it looks like a boat, it's actually pronounced as ba. So that dot there, remember that dot? Ba. The third and the fourth are actually similar shape. So it's like that boat again. However, this time the dots are on top. Okay, so these two dots that are on top, they look like teeth, two rabbit teeth. So those two are actually known, or this letter is actually known as ta. Ta. It's like teeth, teeth, ta, ta. The next one, again, the same shape, the boat shape you have, but this time you have three dots. Th, three. So just like we say three in the Arabic language, the sound that's given from here is th. Th. Okay, so like three when your tongue is placed between your teeth. Three. So th, th. So okay, we've learnt four letters: a, ba, ta, and tha. A, ba, ta, and tha. Okay, now I'm going to be adding some vowels onto this. Okay, so now these sounds that we give, a, ba, ta, and tha, they actually have, above these letters, you have a symbol like that. So above each of these letters, you can write a symbol like this, and you can copy this as well in your notebooks. Copy that. So whenever you get this letter with a symbol on top, you pronounce it as a. Whenever you get this boat shape with a dot underneath with a line like that, you say ba. Whenever you get this shape with a line on top, you say ta. Whenever you get this shape with three dots and then a line on top, you say tha, tha. A, ba, ta, tha. Okay, so we've learned that now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to try to combine the letters together. So okay, so you can try this yourselves. If you had, let's say, this shape plus this shape plus this shape. Let me add the dots. So you had okay, so you got one dot there, two dots there. Right, so how would you pronounce this? If they had this symbol on top, you would say ba, a, ta. Ba, a, ta. Ba, a, ta. Okay, let me rub this out and try. Okay, try another one then. Right, let's say we had this symbol, and this symbol. Okay, so this time ta, ba, a. Ta, ba, a. Ta, ba, a. Okay, so that's the first lesson. Let's just recap again. So we have four letters that we covered today with four symbols. Now, by the way, these symbols are actually above these lines are actually called Fat, like fat. Ha. Fatha. Fatha. So previously in last clip, if you remember, we talked about the 4 letters. A, which is a straight line going down. The boat shape with a dot underneath, which was the ba, bottom, ba. The ta, which is a boat shape with like 2 teeth, 2 rabbit teeth. Ta. And then you have the boat shape with the 3, tha, 3, tha. And we also mentioned about the fatha vowel. So if you have a fatha vowel on each of these, then the sound produced would be a, ba, ta, and tha. Right, today we're going to be doing the other sounds out there, which are what we call the Kasra. So here we have the Kasra is a short line underneath each letter. So this small line which is slightly diagonal going down below each letter. So whenever you get this line below any letter, then the sound pronounced, it's a sound like this. So it would be E, E, and the B, B, and T, T, and Thi. Thi. Remember that three sound? Thi. So E, B, T, Thi. Make sure the sound is short. So E, B, T, and Thi. So let's have a go at combining these together then. So let's say, for example, we have this shape, and we have this shape, okay, and we have this shape. So okay, so we have like this, and each one has this line underneath. Okay, so how would we pronounce this? We would say B, T, T, B, T, T, B, T, T. And let's say we change this into a 3 dots. How would we pronounce this? We say B, T, T, B, T, T. Okay, so let's have a go now at trying to use other symbols, or the Fatha symbol we learned last week, and trying to apply that to this. So let's say I was to say something like this is a bit of a tricky one. So have a go. Ba, si, ta. Ba, si, ta. Okay, so let's write this down. So ba, remember last clip. Ba, and si as above, and ta. Ba, si, ta. Okay, let's have one more go. Let's remove all of these symbols. Let's get rid of those dots as well. Maybe we'll get rid of that as well. Okay, so here goes. And the middle one, let's make it like that. Okay, so how would you pronounce that? We say T, A, B. T, A, B. What you can do is, if you have an exercise book, maybe get a pen, try writing these out, try practicing this. Very good way this is of learning the Arabic alphabet as well. It sticks in the head as well. So far we've covered these 4 letters. We've talked about the sound when you have the fatha on them, which is a, ba, ta, tha. We've talked about the kasra sound, where there's a little line under each letter, which gives it the sound of E, B, D, and Thi. And today we're going to be talking about the third and final sound that's produced with the vowels. And that is with this symbol. Okay, so this symbol, which looks like a golf club that's upside down. This symbol above each letter. Okay, so with this symbol, you pronounce it as U, U. Okay, U. Bu, Bu. Tu. Remember this boat with the two dots look like a teeth. So tu. And thu, the three dots. Thu. U, bu, tu, thu. Okay, so let's have a go at merging a few of the letters together then. So let's say we have okay, let's say we have this. So let's say it's two dots there. It's going to be this one here. And let's say there's okay, and one dot there. Right, so tu, su, bu. Tu, su, bu. Okay, let's remove those. Okay, and let's remove the symbols as well. Let's try a new combination. So let's try. Okay, this, how would we pronounce this? We'd say tu, bu, tu. Tu, bu, and tu. Tu, bu, tu. Okay, let's have a go at merging what we've learned so far in the past 3 lessons. So this time we have, let's say, that symbol there. We have this symbol here. And we have this symbol here. Okay, so how are we going to pronounce these? So this is going to be ta. This one's going to be bi. And this one's going to be tu. Ta, bi, tu. Ta, bi, tu. So ta, bi, tu. Okay, let's have another go. And this time let's try another combination. So, okay, let's try this. So this would be T, B, 2. T, B, 2. T, B, 2. Okay, let's try another combination then. And this time let's change a few of the letters as well. So let's try this. This is a 3-1, remember? This is single dot underneath. And okay, let's have a go at this. So tha-bu-i. Tha-bu-i. So in this lesson, we've learned about this symbol here and the sound that this vowel gives. This is actually known as a Dhamma. Dhamma. Again, it's not necessary to learn the terms. However, the concept is very important. So this letter here can be pronounced in 3 ways. If it has a Fatiha, we say a, Kasra I, Dhamma u. A, I, u. Ba, bi, bu. Ta, ti, tu, tha, si, su. Right, so previously we've gone over 4 letters. And we've learned the sounds that they make with Fatha, Abata, Tha, Ibi, Thi with the Kasra, and Ubu, Tuthu with Dhamma. If you want to refresh your memories, go back to the clip, watch those again, inshallah, you can come back. Right, anyway, in this video, we're going to be covering 3 more letters. Now, these 3 letters are as so. Okay, so this, now I'm going to do half of it in red deliberately. Okay, so, and the reason for that, I'll explain in a little bit. So, this letter is what we pronounce if there was a fatha on top. We say ja. So that's like that. Now, if you want to remember that, easiest way to remember it is that this letter with the dot in the middle looks a bit like a G. So like a G, capital G. That's how to remember it. So if it has a dot in the belly, it's ja. Right, next is exactly the same shape. However, this has no dot in the center. There is no dot at all. And this is pronounced as, with a fatha on top, it's pronounced as ha. Ha. Right, all the way down from the lungs. Ha. Bottom of the throat. Ha. And ha is because it's hollow. Hollow. So just like the belly is hollow, remember that. Ha. And third, exactly the same again. Now, the redness on top, I'm deliberately doing that because when letters are cut, what you'll find is that this top part remains. The bottom part will be cut off, but the top part will remain. And that's how to remember and identify it. Okay, this has a dot on the top. And this is pronounced as kha. Kha with a fatha on top. Kha. And the easiest way to remember this is kha, like you're clearing phlegm, and that phlegm has come out. So I know it's a bit an awful image, but kha, easiest way to remember, as though the phlegm has come out of the body and is outside the body. So you have ja, ha, and kha. Ja, ha, and kha. Okay, so now let's say we were to change these into kasras. So let's say we had kasras on these words, right? How would you pronounce them? Okay, we get rid of these. So kasra under each one of them. So this first one we pronounced as j. J. Okay, so and the second one, he. He. Like, well, that's high, but he, you can imagine. And this one, he. He. You have to give it that deep throat kind of sound, like you're clearing your throat. He. He. Okay, and let's remove that. Okay, so what if you had on those letters the third symbol, which is a Dhamma? So let's say you had Dhamma. How would you pronounce this? You'd say ju, ju, hu, hollow, hu, and hu, hu, hu. So ju, hu, and hu. Okay, ju, hu, and hu. So can you remember all those? So the first one with the fatha was ja, ha, and kha. With the kasra, it's ji, hi, and khi. And with the dhamma, it's ju, hu, and khu. Okay, let's have a go now at putting these letters together. So let's say we had a combination. So let's say we have plus. Okay, I'll put the dots in a second. So let's say we had you add some vowels onto this. So one there, and one there. So how would you pronounce this? You would say kha, ji, kha, kha, ji, kha, kha, ji, kha. Okay, let's remove those. Let's change them. Okay, let's say we put okay, how would you pronounce that? Khu, ja, kha. Khu, ja, kha. Okay, so you've got the idea of putting them together. Now let's combine these with the previous ones. So if you remember this, let's remove all of this then. Let's remove all of today's lesson. And let's combine with the previous lessons as well. So, okay, let's say you had something like this. And let's make it into 4 this time. Okay, so you have okay, so you have Okay, how would you pronounce this? Ba, ju, a, ti. Ba, ju, a, ti. Excellent. Okay, let's have another go then. Let's change the vowels on these. Okay, how would you pronounce it if it was something like this? Have a go with that. B, ja, u, ta. B, ja, u, ta. Write that down. B and ja and u, u and ta. B, ja, u, ta. Okay, this is combining these letters together. So this shape, it looks like a D, doesn't it? A D, just the line missing. So this shape is actually a sound, okay, which is da, da, da. So it looks like a D, da. Now exactly the same shape again, but if it has a dot on top, so it has a dot on top, then this is now what we call the. Now, easiest way to remember this is like someone who has a lisp in their tongue, and when they're trying to say Z, they say the. So this shape, you're trying to say a cross between D and Z, and it comes out as ved. Right? So imagine that. That's dot on top. It's stopping you from pronouncing it correctly. So it's the. Okay, the next two. Okay, now this is like an R twisted over. So if we twist over this and you would turn it over all the way, it looks like an R. R. So this is, if it has a fatha on there, if it has a fatha, miss this fatha here, it would be pronounced as ra. Ra. Okay, so ra, ra, and there's a little roll to it. You notice ra. So da, the, ra. And exactly the same shape again, but this time with a dot on top. With a dot on top, it's actually pronounced za. Za. Okay, so this ra is no longer a ra. The dot on top makes it pronounced as a za. Za. So da, the, like the lisp, ra, and za with a z. Za. Okay, now let's rub this out and let's try with another symbol. Let's try it with a Dhamma. You remember what a Dhamma is? Yep, that curly symbol at the top. So let's try it with that then. So how would you pronounce this with a Dhamma? So du, zu, ru, and yep, zu. Du, zu, ru, zu. Du, zu, ru, zu. Okay, and let's have a go with the final symbol, which is a Kasra. Okay, Kasra is pronounced with these as di, the, ri, zi. Di, the, ri, zi. Di, the, ri, zi. Right, let's have a go at combining some letters now. So let's say we had this, and we had this. Okay, so this one has that. So let's say if it was, how would you pronounce this? The, ru, ru, and di, ru, and D. Dharuti. Okay, so you can have a go at this as well. Try and use other letters with this. And so what we'll do now is the previous letters that we've learnt. Let's combine all of them together and see what we can make out of all of this. So let's say we have that, and that again, and that. So, okay, and you remember these? So, okay, so this would be the, this would be ru, this would be bi, and this would be ju. The, ru, bi, ju. The, ru, bi, ju. Okay, let's have another go then. Let's remove these and try something else. Okay, so okay, so okay, can you remember these? So or a, and this next one would be tu, but the two teeth, tu, and this is, remember, the R with the z, so it's the, and this is that coughing, so this would be khu. A, tu, za, khu. A, tu, za, khu. So in this clip, what we're going to be looking at is how to identify the letters we've learned so far. So we've learnt a, ba, ta, sa, 4 of those, and then we've learnt ja, ha, kha, 3 of those, 7, and we've also learnt da, tha, ra, za. Okay, so all of those put together, we can apply them in this chapter of the Quran. Now this is from the Quran. This is the first chapter of the Quran, which is known as Surah Al-Fatiha. So here goes. So what I'll do is I'll actually highlight letters, and the thing that you have to understand here is that the way that I wrote the letters in previous clips is actually the full form, and when letters are joined together, the letters are actually cut, and so sometimes you need to have an eye for identifying which letters they actually are. So an example here is, here, this is actually with a dot underneath. You remember the dot? It's, you guessed it, it's B. Okay, so that's B. If you remember, we said the dot was very crucial there. Okay, so we've learnt one letter there, which is B. Okay, also, if you carry on, you can see over here, you have another letter there. This is the Ra. So you've got Ra there. It's got Fatha on top. Now, don't worry about that W sign. We're going to do that, inshallah, in a few lessons' time. So this is Ra. Ra. The R. Again, if you look, you can see next to it is a Ha. Ha. Okay, now here you have a symbol, which we'll talk about a bit later as well. So we're going to be looking at this W sign, and we're also going to be looking at this curved symbol on top in a few lessons' time. Right, another, again, we have this Ra. Again, we have this time the Ha has a Kasra below it. And if you remember, in one of the clips I mentioned when we were doing these Ha, Jim, Ja, Ha, and Kha, we said that the tail is cut off, so it's cut off there. Okay, over here, notice you have this A. Notice over here you have Ha. So you have A over here, you have ha over here. Okay, the tail's cut off there. You also have da. This is a form of da. Okay, like the D with that piece missing. So you have that. You also have the ra over here. Ra. So there's da. There's ra. And next to the ra you have, yep, you've guessed it, the dot underneath, ba or b. Okay, it has a kasra, so b. Okay, next to that you have this a with the no vowel on there. You also have over here again a. You have ra, like previously. You have ha with that symbol. Okay, again over here a. You have ra. You have hi, the kasra. Okay, also over here you have the da. You have a or d, sorry, d. You have e over here, e. You have this a over here. You have, notice the dot underneath, single dot, ba. You have do over here, do. Okay, you have e again over here, and then you have a over here, and you have da over here, two dots, the teeth, two teeth. Okay, you have an e over here. You have d over here, d, remember that d shape. You have a over here, which is no vowel on top. You have ra with a fatha, ra. You have the a there with no fatha on there. You have ta. You have a ra with a fatha on top. You have a dha. Okay, so this is the first time we've seen this letter. Dha, if you remember, it's like the lisp, trying to pronounce Z with the lisp. So dha. We have a over here, a. And we have ta, if you notice, it's written there, ta with a fatha on top. And we also have, if we move slightly down, okay, we have a ri. And we also have the a. Okay, we also have b. And we have, this is actually a in the form of a, it's a bit strange, but that's an a. This is another a. And that's it. Okay, here we're going to do 4 letters. So the first letter is like this. It looks a bit like a snake, that sound. And if you give a fatha on top, we say sa. The next letter, again, it looks similar to this sa. It's a bit like a snake sound. However, this has 3 dots on top, a bit like the wool on the back of a sheep. So it gives the sound sha. So this is different from tha, that 3 dot one. This has some teeth at the bottom, so it's sha. Okay, so this is sa and sha. Next, we have, now this sound is a sound that comes from the throat. It looks a bit like a throat, a man with a head. So so from your throat, you pronounce it as though this is the throat of a person, the head. And this is a similar shape again. It looks a bit the same, but this time this has a dot on the top. So this dot, it's as though he has phlegm in his nose. So this is pronounced as ra. Right, like this. Ra. Okay, so it's like saying ga, but ra from the throat, a bit of a phlegmy kind of sound. So sa, sha, a, and ra. Okay, so let's practice this with Dhamma then. Okay, so have a go yourselves with Dhamma. So su, shu, ru from the throat, and ru with a bit of phlegm. Ru. So su, shu, ru, ru. Okay, let's try it with kasras then. Have a go with each one. Si, shi, ri, ri from the throat, and ri. Again with from the throat, but with a bit of phlegm. Si, shi, I, ri. Excellent. Okay, let's try now. Putting a few letters together. So this is the 4 letters. So have a go yourselves. Try and figure it out how to pronounce them. So you have a more of a practice of how to say each word on your own. Okay, so let's add some vowels onto this. So da. Okay, so da, su, kho, ru. Da, su, kho, and ru. So try it, practice it. Da, it's got a fatha. The sa has a dhamma, so su, like a snake. Khu, khu, and ru. And kha and ru. Again, try this one yourselves. So do, si, kha, ru. Do, si, kha, ru. Okay, have a go at these letters as well. Try to recall the sound that these letters make as well as you're going through. And this will help you practicing how to read as well. So let's add the vowels on now. So have a go at these. Okay, so now this is a ba. And this symbol over here, it's actually a sign to show that you join the previous sound to this letter. So it has the sound of r. So you join the ba plus the r. So it says bar. Bar. The previous sound, the vowel is joined to it. Sha and ju. Now let's go back to this ra. This has on top of it this symbol, if you can see, and it looks a bit like a crescent or a half circle. This is called a sukoon, and what this does is that it allows the previous vowel sound to be attached to it. Bar, it's a joining. So you say bar, bar. Let's try this one again then. Okay, so let's write 4 more letters again, and remember the sounds, okay, of each letter. Try to say it to yourselves as you're watching this. So this is hu, and this has a sukoon on there, the sa. So you join the hu to the sa. So you say hus, hus, hus. So practice it yourself. Hus. Let's try another 2 letters then. Okay, again, have a go at this yourselves. So let's put a kasra here, and let's put a sukoon on here. Okay, so have a go. So this is di, and because you're going to join it onto that, the next letter, the sukoon letter, b, dib, dib. Say it together, dib, dib. So hus and dib. So let's start with the letters then. So this is a shape which is similar to what we did last lesson, the sa, but this is sa, sa. So it has a bit of a deeper sound. You can imagine that head at the top giving a deeper sound from your mouth. So sa, sa. Okay, like you have a heavy voice. So you pronounce sa. So it's similar to the sa, that's sa, with a more hissing sound, lighter sound. And this is sa. Okay, another shape which is similar to this one, but this one has a dot on the top. And this is pronounced bo, bo. Okay, so again, it's similar to the one that we done a few lessons ago, which is da, da, like a D, da. Okay, but it has a deeper sound. Do, do. Okay, the next one is like a hook shape, like a backwards L. So this is la, la, like L, la, la. Okay, the next letter, it looks a bit like the head of a mop, right? Like a mop with a big stick. So this is ma, ma. Okay, so by pronouncing like a M, ma, ma. Okay, these are 4 letters then. So sa, ba, la, and ma. Sa, ba, la, ma. Okay, try it with the Dhammas then. So have a go yourself. So su, bu, lu, mu. Bu, lu, mu. Okay, let's try it with the Kasras then. So have a go yourselves. Si, bi, li, and mi. Si, bi, li, mi. Okay, so those are the sounds of the 3 possible sounds that you can have. Okay, now let's try some random letters then. So let's see if you guys can work these out. Okay, so have a go at pronouncing these letters. Sa, si. So sa, si, ra, and bu. Sa, si, ra, bu. Sa, si, ra, bu. Okay, let's try some more then. This time we'll use a sukoon that we learnt. So try and have a go yourselves at this. Su, su. And ra, and this B sound. So when you put it together, it becomes Rabb. Rabb. So su, su, Rabb. Su, Rabb. Okay, so again, here's a few more random letters to have a go at. So have a go yourselves then. So da, da. And this, remember, the 3, so th sound. And then bu and ma. So when we join the sukoon together with a da, it becomes death. Death, like a tha sound, a lisp. Death. Du, ma. Okay, let's try one last one then. So again, now slowly what we're going to try and do is try and apply these in the Quran. So first of all, let's add some vowels onto this. And have a go yourselves as well. Try and pronounce them before we go through them. Okay, so here is a, and that's ha, and that's the L sound, and that's the M sound, and that's do. Okay, so al, al, and then the ha and the m, ham, ham, and finally do. So al, ham, do. Al, ham, do. Right, so now when it's written in the Quran, they won't be written as individual letters. What they usually have is the letters are actually joined up. So let me just show you how you join up letters in Arabic. So you get used to this practicing through the Quran. So the la is connected to the ha is connected to the ma, and the ma is connected to the do. Okay, so alhamdu is actually written like this. So this is actually the written form of it when you join it all up together, and with the vowels on top, it's like this. Alhamdu. Now let's look in the Quran itself. Let's try to identify it. So if you look at the top, okay, over here, you can see al, ham, and do. Al, ham, do. So let's start off with the first letter then. This is the letter ba. Ba. So imagine that shape is like the shape of a mouth. Have a fatha on there and pronounce it ba. So it's like ta, ta, but you raise the tongue up to the palate and you pronounce it ba, ba. So try that with me. Ba, ba, ba. And the best way to do it, look in the mirror and try practicing it, looking at yourself. Ba. The next one is similar to ba again. However, this time this has a little dot on top. So that dot is like you pronounce it from your nose. Va. 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 Like put your teeth or your tongue, between your teeth and pronounce it va. Like in English, the word that. So when you say that same putting the tongue between the teeth, you say that. Va. Va. So ta and va. The next one is it's like a semicircle with a dot on top. Looks like a nose. So na. Na. Put a fatha on there. Pronounce it as na. Na. Okay, so like a red nose there. So you have na. Na. And the fourth is a curly line, like a swirl. Right? And this is wa. Okay? So it's like curling, like a whirlpool, going round and round and round, twisting up, curling up. So that's wa. 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 So say it with me. Wa. Ta, va, na, wa. Let's try it with a Dhamma then. So have a go. Tu, tu, dhu, dhu, nu, nu, and wu, wu. So tu, dhu, nu, wu. Now let's try it with the Kasra then. So have a go yourselves. Ti, 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 vi, 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 ni, 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 and we. So have a go. Ti, vi, ni, we. Okay, now let's try a few combinations then. So okay, so we've got a ta there, we've got a, remember that letter? A ba, and we've got here a one on the top, it's kha, kha, and we've got a ta, ta. So let's put some vowels on these then. Put some fathas there, and let's put a sukoon there. So tu, ta, ta, ba, kha, and tu. Ta, ba, kha, and tu. Remember, whenever you have a sukoon, you join the previous letter, sound of the previous letter with it. So you merge them together. So you say bakh, bakh. So tabakhtu. Okay, so again, let's put some dhammas on the letters. Okay, let's put kasra. And let's put a sukoon on the kha again. So have a go at this one then. So to and the ba and the kha is going to be joined together. So you're going to have to bikh. So the ba and the kha joined together. The bikh. So it has like a very heavy sound from the throat. Bikh, clearing your throat. Okay, let's have a go at some more letters then. So we have a there. We have a na there. We have a a there. And we have a ta. Right, so let's put some vowels on there then. Okay, so some fathas. And remember, try to have a go as well before I pronounce them. So, remember, join them together. So, an. Ah. So you got a there, you got a there, and you got ta. So, an. Am. Ta. An. Am. Ta. So you join the a and the noon together, becomes a. An. You join the a and the meme together, which becomes am. Pronounce it with me. And the ta, you pronounce it with the fatha. Ta. So it becomes an or an, am, ta. An, join together. An, am, ta. An, am, ta. So when you write them, remember when you write them, the noon is going to join with the ayn. So you cut off the tail of the ayn. The ma is going to join with the ta. So you merge it together. And it should, you can have a go at writing this as well at home. It should actually come out something like this. Okay, so it looks a bit different from the original letters because Arabic, remember, is different from English. You have to merge. So, an'amta. Now, if you look at Surah Al-Fatiha that we read in Salah, so here you have that word, an'amta. 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 So have a go yourselves. Try what we learned so far. Try it again and again, inshallah. So first of all, the first letter that we're going to do today is a letter that looks a bit like a finger, like a severed part of a finger. You can see the nail there, and it's fa. So finger, fa. Pronounce it with me. Fa, like F, fa, fa. Okay, the second letter is similar to this. It looks a bit like that, but it's curled up. So a bit like a curled up. So that's fa, and this one's qa. Qa. So curled qa. Qa. Now this is different from kaf, which is going to come. You pronounce it from the depth of your throat. Qa. 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 So fa and qa. Okay, the next letter is looks like an animal's head, like the head of a camel. So head. So this is sometimes written like this, sometimes it's written like this, a bit curvy. And this is pronounced ha. Ha. Now you remember there was another ha, which was the middle of the throat, and this one is from the lungs. So all the way down from the lungs, you pronounce ha. Ha. So you have fa, qa, and ha. The fourth looks a bit like a hook. So that sound ka, hook. So ka, ka. The K in a hook. Ka. Ka. Okay, so this is different from qa. Qa was more in the throat, and this is more towards the tongue. Ka. So qa and ka. Qa and ka. It's a bit lighter. It's a bit more like we pronounce in English. And finally, the last letter is the ya. Looks a bit like a Y, kind of twisted and turned. Ya. And it has 2 dots underneath. And sometimes we won't have the dots, by the way. But this is how it's written. So ya. 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 So the first is fa. Second is qa, 2 dots. Ha, ka, and ya. So you can pronounce that yourselves. Fa, qa, ha, ka, and ya. Okay, so let's add different vowels onto these then, see if we can pronounce them. So now we're going to add the Dhamma. So fu, qu, hu, ku, and you. Fu, qu, hu, ku, you. Okay, now try this. Fi, qi, hi, ki, and yi. Remember the differentiate between the qa, qi, and ki. One is heavy, one is light. Okay, let's have a go at joining some letters together then. Okay, so let's try this one then. So this is a m sound. This is a s sound. We have a t sound. 2 dots, remember, like 2. We have the q sound, just now, curved. We have the y, the y sound, and the m sound again. So let's add vowels onto there then. The Dhamma there on the m. We add a Fatha on the t. We add a Kasra. We add a Sukoon on the s and on the ya. And we'll add a Kasra on the qa. Okay, so let's have a go at this then. Fatha on the m. So mu. Now remember you join with the sukoon. So you're going to pronounce them together. And you have ta, and then you have ma. So when you join these together, it becomes mus, mus, mus. And then we have the qaf and ya, qa, ya, qi, 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 mustaqima, mustaqima, mustaqima. Now we join these letters together. Remember, in Arabic, we sever some parts of the letters. So if we were to join these together, this is how it's going to look. So you remove the tail from the sa, you remove half of the ta, you remove half of the qa, curved, you remove parts of the ya. So when you join it all together, it looks a bit different from what we originally saw it as. So it's written like this, and you can actually try practice writing it as well yourselves. So mus, ta, qima, mustaqima, mustaqima. Okay, you can pronounce it yourselves as well. And if you look in the Quran, in Surah Fatiha, you have this word here, mustaqim, mustaqima, mustaqima. Okay, let's try another one then. So we have the na, the nose, ya, I, the ba, and the da. Okay, so it's got a fatha there, sukoon there, dhamma there, and dhamma there. And when you put it all together, na'budu, na'budu, na'budu. Now cut the letters to join them. So we have na'budu. And this is how it's written. You can have a go at this as well. Recognize the ain there. Na'budu. Na'budu. Now, if we actually look into the Quran as well, Surah Fatiha, we can find this word here. So, na'budu. 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 Now, we've covered all the letters in the Arabic language. Now, the only thing that's left is applying these letters to the Quran. And inshallah, we're going to start learning that from now. And we're going to be adding a few extra rules which apply specifically to the text that is found in the Quran. So you probably recognize some of these letters. And if you can't remember them, go back to the previous videos, watch them again, learn the letters again. So we're going to apply some vowels onto these then. So we've got some fathas, and now try and pronounce them before I pronounce them. So here we have al-hamdu. Say it with me. Al-hamdu. Okay, now we're going to be joining the letters together. Not all letters join together. So the a will not join with the la. So the letters that join together are as follows. And so al-hamdu is actually written in the Quran like so. Okay, it's written like this, and it has the vowels on top. So again, exactly the same pronunciation. Al-hamdu. Say it with me. Al-hamdu. Okay, so now in the Quran, it looks like this. Now you can see me writing over it, so you can distinguish the letters. Al-hamdu. This is Surah Al-Fatiha. Al-hamdu. Right, let's have a go at another one then. So again, writing some letters, and try and have a go yourselves at pronouncing these letters. And the best advice I can give is try and pronounce them with a loud voice. And the louder, the better, the quicker you learn, inshallah. So okay, so try pronouncing these then. So ra, the fatha, ra, and then hi, the hi with the ya sukoon. So ra, hi, mi, ra, hi, mi, ra, hi, mi. Pronounce it with me. Ra, hi, mi. Now let's join these letters together, the ones that we can join together. So it kind of looks a bit like this, and the ya has two dots underneath to recognize it. Okay, ra, hi, mi, ra, hi, mi. Now in the Quran, when it's written, it's actually written like this. So ra, hi, mi. And you can have a go at trying to write these words or letters yourself as well. Ra, hi, mi. So pronounce it with me. Ra, hi, mi. Ra, hi, mi. Now let's have a go in the Quran then. So in the Quran, you can see this word here. Ra, hi, mi. Okay, ra, hi, mi. Ra, hi, mi. Okay, so that's another example. Let's look at a third example then. So again here, these letters, try and identify them. Write them down if you want. It's a good way of memorizing it as well. Okay, let's put some vowels onto these letters then. So we have Fatha, Sukoon, and a Kasra. So try pronouncing this then. Yawmi, Yawmi, Yawmi. Again, when we join it together, it's gonna appear a bit like this. So Yawmi, and in the Quran, it's written like this. You'll find it like this. Yawmi, Yawmi. So pronounce it with me. Yawmi. Okay, so let's look in the Quran and try and find where this is written. So there is Yawmi, Yawmi. Okay, Yawmi. So pronounce it with me. Yawmi, Yawmi. Okay, so let's have the fourth and last example then. So again, try and write these letters if you want, pronounce them, and let's add some vowels onto it. So Fatha and Sukoon, and Dhamma, the Dhamma onto both of these. Right, so pronounce it then. Na'budu, Na'budu. So let's join these letters together. So this is joined as follows, as you can see. So Na'budu. So the bu has a dot underneath. You can see there's a dot. Na'budu. And in the Quran, it's actually written like this. Na'budu, Na'budu, Na'budu. So pronounce it with me. Na'budu. Right, let's look in the Quran then. So here, Na'budu, Na'budu. Pronounce it with me. Na'budu. So alhamdulillah, try practicing that again and again, inshallah. And as I said, if you have any problems with any of the letters, go back to the previous lessons and try going over them again. If you have any questions, any suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. Right, today we're going to be starting a new rule here. So add a few letters here, and you're going to notice a new letter we're going to be introducing, which is this straight line that goes down. And so add some vowels onto this then. So on the ra and ma, and add a sukoon and kasra. Okay, so rah, just join them together then. So try pronouncing it. Rah. Now here is where you stretch. Ma. Yeah, rah. Mani. Okay, so here is the rule that we're learning today. When you get the ma or any letter and after it you get this line that goes up, which is known as an alif, you say the extra stretching ma. You stretch it a bit more. So pronounce it as ma. Ma. Okay, so that's the alif, that is. And all it does is stretches the letter before it. Ma. So rahmani. Rahmani. So give it a little stretch. Rahmani. Now it's written like this. If you put it all together, it's written like this. Rahmani. And sometimes if you look in the Quran, you'll actually find it written in another format. So let me show you how that's written then. So you have it written as follows. So rah. Now notice ma, the ma and the na join together, and the alif is represented as a small little line in the air. Rahmani. Rahmani. So pronounce it with me. Rahmani. Okay, that alif is exactly the same. Pronunciation is exactly the same. No difference at all. So Rahmani. So let's look in the Quran then. So here in Surah Al-Fatiha, we have this word, if you can spot it. Okay, so here it is. Rah, ma. Now notice that alif there in the air. Right, so rah, ma, ni. Rah, ma, ni. And you also have it again here. So rah, ma, ni. And all you have to remember is the alif there. Rah, ma, ni. Right, let's have a go with another word then. Okay, so let's write a few letters here then. And try joining them up. And remember, try applying what you learn wherever you see in the Quran. Try your best, and hopefully, inshallah, you should be able to pronounce it after some time. So let's add some vowels onto this then. So add fathas, a and la and na, and bi and mi. Okay, so here, so join them together then, have a go. Bil, now notice you have the alif there, so bil, stretch it slightly. So bil, lamina. Bil, la, mi. The ma is joined with the ya, so mi, sukun, na. Bil, la, mi, na. Now, this word is actually written with an alif, silent alif, just before the la, okay, the lam. So it's written there. So it's pronounced as bil alamina. So this is, if you look at it in the Quran, you'll find it written in this format. So bil alamina. And in fact, in the Quran, you'll actually find the alif written as we showed earlier, a small alif in the air. So bil alamina. Bil alamina. Okay, so this is how it's actually found in the Quran itself. Bil and you have the vowels bil lamina and a small alif. Draw a small alif there then, just after the ain. Bil lamina. So say it with me. Bil lamina. Bil lamina. Notice the stretching of the voice as well. So here it is. Bil. So you join that alif is silent. Bil lamina. Bil lamina. So if you say it all together, Rabbil alamina. Okay, let's try one more example then of this. So let's have another letter ma, and then alif again, and the la, okay, and ka. Okay, so let's try this then. So fatha ma and li and ki. Now because of this alif, we're going to have to stretch the ma. So let's stretch it then. So maliki. Maliki. So it's pronounced like this then. So ma, stretch it, maliki. And now if we were to join all those together, it's going to come out something like this. So ma is joined to the alif, ma, and the alif doesn't join, so the la joins to the ka. Okay, so if you were to rub that out, then it looks a bit like this. So let's write it out once again clearly. So ma liki, ma li Maliki. Okay, and now in the Quran, it's actually found like this. Okay, so they're both actually found in the Quran, you can find. But here's the one that we're going to show. So if it didn't have the alif, it would have been maliki. Now, because it has the alif, we say maliki. So pronounce it with me then. Maliki. Ma stretch liki. Here is in the Quran. Notice ma liki. The little alif there in the air. So ma liki. And here, so we're going to apply some more letters and a new rule we're going to be introducing today, known as the Shaddah rule. So try and pronounce these letters together. So we have a Fatha, the Ra, Sukun de Kasra. So Rabb, Bi, Rabb, Bi. Ra joins with the Ba, Rabb, and Bi. Now there's another way of actually writing this out in Arabic, which is what I want to show you guys today. And that is, you can actually write one ba in place of the two bars. Write one ba with this W sign at the top. And that represents two. So Rabb, Bi. So you can write it like the top way, or you can write it like I've written at the bottom with that symbol, that W symbol, which is known as a Shaddah. So two bars are incorporated into one bar with that symbol. So Rabb, Bi, Rabb, Bi, Rabb. So say it with me. Rabb, Bi, Rabb, Bi. And remember, try and pronounce it as loud as you can so that the pronunciation becomes correct. And you can actually record yourself, listen to yourself again. So let's look at the surah then. So in Surah Al-Fatiha, Rabb, notice the Shaddah on the top, Bi. So you pronounce it as double. Rabb, Bi, Rabb, Bi. Okay, so that's one example. Let's try another example then. So here, again, when you can actually write this down, it'd be a really good idea to get a piece of paper, get a pen. Maybe you can even write it down on a piece of paper, practice your Arabic as well. And this is a very good way of memorizing the rules as well. Right, so let's add some vowels onto these letters then. So, okay, so we have here, try and pronounce that yourselves. So, E, Ya, Ka. E, join it together. Ya, stretch it a bit. Ka. E, Ya, Ka. So pronounce it with me. E, Ya, Ka. Okay, so let's join these letters together then. Now notice when we join these letters together, the shapes of the letters, or some of them, change depending on where they occur in the word itself. Some of them are joined to letters before, some of them are not. And so notice two yas have come together. Now, if we had to write that out with a shadda, how would we write it? It would be written like this, with one ya with a shadda on top. So pronounce it with me. Iyaka, Iyaka, Iyaka. Say it with me. Iyaka. So the two yas here are represented with one ya with a shadda on top. They're exactly the same. Okay, and it's pronounced Iyaka. So say it with me. Iyaka. Excellent. Brilliant. Right, let's have a go in the Surah Al-Fatiha. Then remember, we're trying to understand Surah Al-Fatiha here. So here, notice there's a E, and there's a Ya there, there's a Ka, and the Ya has a Shadda on top. So that Shadda represents two letters. So we pronounce it Iyaka. Say it with me. Iyaka. 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 Right, let's try another example then. So again, try writing it out yourselves. Practice your handwriting as well. And also try pronouncing the letters before I pronounce them. So let's have a go here then. So let's add, let's add a ha here. Add some vowels onto these letters. Okay, so let's put a Kasra on the mi, so mi. And let's put Kasra on the ha, put a Sukoon there, and put a Fatha there. Right, so pronounce them. Mil, la, hi. Mil, mim and the la join together. Mil, and the la stretched. Now here there's a alif that's they write but it's silent. I'll show you in a bit. So we don't pronounce that alif, that purple alif there. So mil, la, hi. Mil, la, hi. Right, so how would you write this out? Try writing it yourself. How would you write this if we had to write it with the Shaddah? So okay, so this mi, la, hi. Mil, la, hi. Now notice, remember the last lesson we talked about the small alif that they write hovering above. Okay, so that's, you have to imagine that's over here. So we'll write that in there. The alif is there. And you got a Shaddah here. So we pronounce it as mil. And then that la stretching sound is due to the hovering alif. And the hi. Mil, la, hi. So say it with me. Mil, la, hi. Mil, la, hi. Notice the alif is in place of that. And this was last lesson. If you can't remember the last lesson, go over the videos again. Come back to this one. Okay, so mil, la, hi. Two lams are represented by one lam there. And there's that Shaddah there. So mil, la, hi. And this is the name of Allah, how it's written. Okay, not the meme part, but the rest of it. So here, mil, la, hi. Mil, la. Notice the Shaddah there. And that small alif on top, the line on the top, hovering, stretching. So mil, la, hi. Mil, la, hi. Again, there's other words you can spot in Surah Al-Fatiha yourselves. So you have there, for example, Ar-Rahman, Rah. There's two Ra's there. Da, Malik Yawmiddin. You have the Si, Nasira, two Sads, two Lams there, two Yas there. Okay, so you can see the letters that we have with the Shaddahs. There's quite a few of them in this surah, and you can look through other pages of the Quran as well to spot some. And try practicing now. You've learnt a lot of letters now, so you should be confident enough to be able to apply many of them yourselves, inshallah. Hope you guys are enjoying it so far. Now, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be applying all the 13 rules that we've learned today, or lessons, into Surah Al-Fatiha. So here goes then. Have a go yourselves. I'm breaking it down here word by word, and try and work out the pronunciation of each of the words in the Arabic. So Bismi, and then Allahi, then Ar-Rahmani. Remember the Shaddah represents two letters. Ar-Rahimi. So Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Have a go at that. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Okay, next. Again, break down the words. So you can write them down as well if you like. So Alhamdu Lillahi Rabbi Al-Alamina and Ar-Rahmani. Okay, so Alhamdu Lillahi Rabbil Alamina Ar-Rahmani. Okay, next line. We've done this before, so Ar-Rahimi. Maliki Yawmid Ad-Dini. Iyyaka na'budu. Ar-Rahimi Maliki Yawmiddini Iyyaka na'budu. Next line. وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. And the last line. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. So غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Excellent, brilliant. Now this rule here we're going to be covering inshallah in the next lesson. This is called the mad rule, stretching rule. Just like I stretched the word, if you noticed. Right, let's read this again then. So, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. So let's do another surah. So again, ba, Sin and Mi. So draw them up and have a go yourselves. Try and pronounce them. So bis, mi, and then you have the word over there. So join that together with that word. So bismillahi, and then try and break down the words. They're a bit different when they're written all together, but if you try and break them down, understand them all together. So ar-Rahmani, and then again ar-Rahimi. So if you join them together, so let's join it from there. So Hir-Rahmanir Rahim. So have a go at pronouncing it. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Okay, next. So we have O and the La, Qul, Qul. Join them together. And then we have A-U-Dhu, A-U-Dhu. Join them together. So Qul A'udhu. And then we have Bi Rabbi, Bi Rabbi. And then An-Nasi, An-Nasi. Put the vowels. So try writing yourself as well. You know, it does help a lot of people. So Bi Rabbin Nasi. Maliki, Maliki الناس ملك الناس إله إله الناس. So we've done this word before. So again, have a go again. إله. So let's read together. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله. Try again. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس. Okay, so min and then sharri. Shar, remember there's two ra's there. Shaddah. Sharri. الوسواس وسواسي. Do them together. So min sharril waswasi khannasi khannasi. Okay, so min sharril waswasil khannasi alladhi yuwaswisu fi. Okay, so let's try and join them together. So min sharril waswasil khannasi alladhi yuwaswisu fi. So say it together. Min sharril waswasil khannasil ladhi yuwaswisu fi. Okay, so do join them together. Nasi. Notice this word repeats itself again and again. So sudurin nasi min. Okay, really short there. Jinnati minal jinnati wan nasi minal jinnati wan nasi. Let's join together. So sudurin nasi minal jinnati wan nasi. So you can have a go yourself, pause it, stop it, have a go yourself, go through these verses inshallah and try it for yourselves. I hope you guys have benefited from this, learned from this, and inshallah you will learn and you'll improve day by day. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.